Breaking: Nemesio Oseguera, Cervantes, known as El Mencho, is dead. February 22, 2026. Yesterday, Mexican Marines killed him in a firefight. El Mencho, the most wanted man in Mexico, leader of the CJNG cartel, $10 million bounty on his head, dead. But this wasn't just Mexico. Trump was involved. U.S. intelligence, DEA assets, Special Forces coordination. This was a joint operation, and it just started the bloodiest cartel war in Mexican history, because CJNG isn't gone. They're furious, and Mexico is about to explode. Welcome to Political Pulse Daily. El Mencho is dead, but the war, it's just beginning. Before we get into yesterday's operation, you need to know who El Mencho was. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, born 1966 in Michoacán, Mexico. Started as a low-level drug trafficker in the 90s, got deported from the U.S. in the early 2000s, but he didn't stay small. In 2010, he founded the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, and within 10 years, CJNG became the most powerful cartel in Mexico. They control Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, parts of Guanajuato, Veracruz, and they operate in 28 of Mexico's 32 states. But it's not just Mexico. CJNG operates in the U.S. in 35 states, from California to New York. They traffic fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin. They're responsible for thousands of American overdose deaths every year. And El Mencho, he was behind it all. The DEA called him the most dangerous cartel leader in history. More violent than El Chapo, more ruthless than Pablo Escobar. He ordered the downing of a Mexican military helicopter in 2015, killed the crew. He massacred rival cartel members, beheaded informants, killed journalists, threatened police families, and for 15 years he evaded capture, until yesterday. So how did they finally get him? February 21st, 2026, 11:47 p.m., U.S. intelligence pinpointed El Mencho's location. He was hiding in a compound in Tonaya, Jalisco, deep cartel territory. The intel came from a CJNG defector, someone high up, someone who knew where Mencho slept. The defector gave coordinates, floor plans, security details, and the U.S. passed it to Mexico. But here's the thing, Trump didn't just give the intel, he demanded action. According to sources, Trump told Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, "If you don't take him out, we will." Translation: either Mexico handles it or U.S. forces cross the border and do it themselves. Sheinbaum had no choice. So on February 22nd, 4:13 a.m., Mexican Marines launched the raid. 150 Marines, Black Hawk helicopters, armored vehicles, the full force. They surrounded the compound, gave El Mencho one chance to surrender. He opened fire. What followed was a 6-hour firefight. CJNG sicarios, cartel gunmen, poured in from nearby towns. RPGs, machine guns, grenades. 14 Marines wounded, 3 killed. But by 10:37 a.m. it was over. El Mencho was found dead, shot 11 times. His body identified by fingerprints. The most wanted man in Mexico, dead. And Trump tweeted within an hour, "Great work by Mexico and our incredible intel team. The cartels are done. More coming soon." More coming soon. That's not a promise, that's a threat. So why was Trump involved? Because the cartels have been his obsession since day one of his second term. January 20th, 2025. Trump's first executive order? Designate cartels as terrorist organizations. That means the U.S. military can target them, anywhere, anytime. February 2025. Trump authorized drone strikes on cartel leaders in Mexico. Mexico protested, called it a violation of sovereignty. Trump didn't care. March 2025. U.S. Special Forces crossed the border without permission. Killed a Sinaloa cartel leader. Mexico expelled U.S. diplomats in protest. Trump threatened tariffs. The relationship was falling apart, but then Claudia Sheinbaum became president in October 2024, and she took a different approach. She said, "We'll cooperate, but only if the U.S. shares intelligence, and only if we lead the operations." Trump agreed. And that cooperation led to yesterday's raid. But here's the problem. Killing El Mencho doesn't end CJNG, it makes them more dangerous. So what happens now that El Mencho is dead? Chaos. CJNG is fractured. Multiple factions, multiple leaders, all fighting for control. Faction 1, El Mencho's son. Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez, known as El Menchito. He's in U.S. custody but still commands loyalty. His faction wants revenge against Mexico, against the U.S., against anyone who helped. Faction 2, El Mencho's brother, Antonio Oseguera, less violent but more strategic, wants to consolidate power quietly. Faction 3, the hardliners, veterans who want blood. They're already mobilizing. Yesterday, hours after El Mencho's death, CJNG issued a statement. The death of our leader will be avenged. Mexico will burn, America will bleed, and they're not bluffing. Since yesterday, 47 people killed in Jalisco. Police stations burned, government buildings attacked, civilians caught in crossfire. Guadalajara, Mexico's second-largest city, is under curfew. Schools closed, businesses shuttered, military patrolling the streets. This is the beginning of a war, not just CJNG versus Mexico, CJNG versus Sinaloa, CJNG versus themselves. And the US, we're in it too, because Trump just painted a target on every American in Mexico. Let's talk about what this means. For Mexico, this is the biggest cartel takedown since El Chapo in 2016. But El Chapo's arrest led to years of violence. Expect the same now, maybe worse. CJNG is bigger than Sinaloa ever was. More territory, more money, more guns. Scheinbaum is calling this a victory, but it's not. It's the start of a nightmare. For the US, Trump is framing this as a win. Tough on cartels, protecting Americans. But here's what he's not saying. CJNG controls fentanyl production. El Mencho's death doesn't stop that. It makes the supply chain more chaotic. More chaos equals more contaminated drugs equals more American deaths. And if CJNG retaliates against the US, border attacks, kidnappings, terrorism. Trump says he's winning the war on cartels, but wars have casualties, and Americans are about to become them. For the cartels, every other cartel in Mexico is watching. Sinaloa, Gulf, Zetas. They see CJNG weakened. They see opportunity. This isn't the end of the cartel era. It's the start of the next one. Whoever fills the power vacuum becomes the next El Mencho, and the cycle continues. Bottom line, El Mencho is dead. Trump and Mexico killed him yesterday in a joint operation. The most dangerous cartel leader in history. Gone. But CJNG isn't gone. Mexico isn't safer, and America isn't winning. 47 dead in 24 hours. Cities burning, factions warring. Trump calls this a victory, but it's not. It's the opening shot of the bloodiest cartel war in Mexican history. At Political Pulse Daily, we'll be covering this as it unfolds. Subscribe, turn on notifications, because this story is just beginning, and it's about to get a lot worse. They killed El Mencho, but they didn't kill the cartel. And now, Mexico is burning.